showing the whole world everything there. I'm just, I know I had to button it up. That was inappropriate. Are you being inappropriate?
I'm being inappropriate.
Don't be inappropriate.
But hi.
How about the lighting?
The lighting is fine. I think it's sometimes the camera itself picks up and detects how much light we actually.
Hi everyone. We're just having a regular conversation.
It's just it's
what we do.
Stuff. Let's just do it.
So interested to know if cardboard. We are. I'm just going to throw that out there. Look, we tried the vegetarian thing. We gave it a try. We tried what for about 6 months?
Yeah.
We did. We gave up meat for 6 months. Call us heathens. It is what it is. It is what it is. I like a good steak. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we started that off bad.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't judge. No judging. Just don't. So we had a reschedule and thought, well, let's pop in here real quick. I get it. It's bad for us. I get it.
Vegan almost
so
killed
is
me.
chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolate's bad for you too, but I like it. So is beer.
I think everything.
Do you want me to keep going?
I think everything's fine in moderation.
In moderation.
I think it's just what you do to burn that kind of stuff off. So, as we get older, we're picking up on, that we could eat depending on what we burn throughout the day or what we're going to burn throughout the day.
If you could give me some hopeful news, I'd appreciate it much. Here is the news you are looking for. Everything is going to be okay. Stop trying to do the universe's work and let the universe work for you. You're doing it all wrong. And listen. Stop that chasing. Stop that wondering. Stop all that. Go. Be you. Do your life. You're waiting. What you waiting on?
Ooh, that's a good question. What are you waiting on?
Right.
I think with the waiting game, that causes all kinds of impatience.
Let me talk to you about waiting as we sit here on our third day of waiting for hockey tryout results. Okay.
Here we go.
I do not personally play hockey, and neither does Lee. However, Cameron does. Cameron's my 10-year-old son. And Cameron's not Wayne Gretzky. He's 10, okay? But he's not a horrible hockey player. He is not the best. He's 10. Let's leave that out there. He still falls on occasion. They're 10, they do. So hockey tryouts is a 2-day process. That happened Saturday and Sunday. It is now Tuesday, and we still don't have the results of his hockey tryouts or what team he's on. So we are waiting to see if he has to drop down a level because he didn't try out well, or if he's going to play on the same level, or if he gets the team he wants, all that stuff. So waiting is the hardest part. As what was that guy? Tom, or what was that guy's name? He just died.
The Forrest Gump?
No. The dude that sings "Waiting" is Tom Petty.
Oh,
Tom Petty.
Just Tom? No,
Rest in peace, Tom Petty. He's been gone a minute, couple years.
Yeah.
Waiting is the hardest part.
So I like this. Waiting for my turtle slow TF. Thank God you didn't hear turtle slow, because man, that would have been my nickname back in the day. And you know what? We're doing this thing on Patreon where we actually are going through our messages.
Oh yeah, that's not on Patreon. Yeah, that's a program we just put
out.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a program that we're putting out.
Well, VIP Patreon.
We go with the dialogue that used to go on between us.
We found emails.
She could feel the connection, and I was really slow to admit the feeling of. But man, I read some of the stuff that I was writing back to her. I mean, I can explain it, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I wanted to punch me in the face. I mean, I literally was like, wow.
So I'm going to backstory it a little bit. So I was going through some emails. I found some old emails Lee and I exchanged when he came back from after he left for, it said 3 years. I don't know, 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And which is right.
Man,
Which is right. It was 3 years. 9 or 5 or 6 to 6, 7, 8, 9.
well, came together 3 years later.
Yeah.
But I came back in 07.
Right.
And that was
Okay,
the dialogue is from 07 and
Okay.
parts of 08, I think.
Yeah.
And the messages that she would send, and the messages of how I would respond. And
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
he got a hold of me. We were sending messages back and forth. I'm like, look, I think I even used the F word. Like, what the F are you saying, Lee? I mean, I would ask him a question and he would go this way. And I'm like, you know what?
I didn't understand what she meant by slow learner until I started reading it. Like, that's what you meant. But it was really hard because at that point, I was starting to look at my emotions. I wasn't paying attention to my emotions, nor did I understand. So it was like I was learning a way to develop speaking, but then it seemed like I would backtrack on the first thing that I would say. And I went, oh yeah, no, this will be interesting for people to see that,
Mm-hmm.
and for us to actually talk about what was going through each other. Because I think when you're in this connection, you're often wondering how the other person's thinking or what they're thinking and why some of their answers come out a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be able to give a really large insight to that, especially as elusive and as it's hard to be direct, especially if you haven't learned to be direct before. You learned to be direct before then, and here I was just understanding that what directness meant. And oh my God, it was
He read it and he was like, man, I want to punch me.
Yeah. Oh.
It was frustrating for me to read.
You laughed a little too long at that.
Well, because I can remember when I was reading the emails how I felt when I was first time reading those emails, and I just wanted to punch something, and
or someone,
or I just kept getting more and more frustrated with you because you weren't getting it.
That's it. Mind talks in circles. That's what I did. I was right.
Oh, circles.
Oh, you should see it. I mean, I was like,
if you haven't seen it, I have posted it in our Twin Flame Work group on Facebook. Those messages in their entirety have been posted on our Facebook page, Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented.
Yeah, right.
And in a couple other groups.
I didn't mean to do that. I just.
And I need to put them in our Patreon VIP section because they. No. That's not a part of it. I don't know. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, we went through that, and we're doing a series on those emails, and then we're going to talk for a week on those emails, and then next week we're going to pull out some more emails and talk about it, because that I'm going to get myself in trouble because then I start acting like an ass, and
it happens.
So it's pretty interesting to go through our journey with us again.
And this will be a deeper way. I mean, if you guys watch the journey, you see a lot of the things. You see our vulnerability more than anything, and the vulnerability is the key to this connection. But it wasn't like it happened like immediately. You literally get to see, and if some of you, we could see where a lot of people could get stuck because we were stuck. And there was the stuck comes from a lot of blocks that you have on the inside of you that you don't really know how to navigate through or remove or even understand. So it was, I think when we did this, I think we both realized, okay, when we looked at it, the back scratcher, I think we both realized, okay, yeah, this is something we need to kind of realize that we need to kind of go into.
Let's answer a couple of these right here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hang on. Ooh, it's a pointer too. I'm interested in, is that breatharianism?
Okay.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
No, everything is going well. Everything is going well. He has an addiction to opioids. Don't know how to address it. Any advice? Thank you. Thank you. Unfortunately, I have experience with this as my oldest daughter has an opioid addiction. And so I do have some experience in that. And
I had it.
Opioids?
Oh, yeah.
But yours was cocaine.
Well, that led to cocaine. But remember, I had back issues, severe back issues.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on, I couldn't do Vicodin anymore. All I could do were Percocets. And then I was like doing I was just getting them just so I could not care about how I felt.
Right.
And that's really, I think, once I went into why I was not caring about what I felt, it was really just, it could have been fear of getting it fixed. It could have been fear. Actually, what it did turn out to be is I just didn't have to feel anything. So literally, you do go through this space where you choose being numb, then choose feeling what you feel. And the thing is you don't have anybody to explain that to. Somebody who's wanting to try to tell you, no, you shouldn't be doing this. They're not looking at the root behind why I was doing it.
Oh, okay.
So, when you go from one thing to the next, I think even as an addiction is a refusal to go into your own pain. It's a refusal to actually address or put into healing what's actually causing all of it. And usually you can't do that because you don't even know the emotions behind it.
Oh, right.
So kind of like, and it was interesting because she used to just talk to me and literally even times where I was probably high, she would ask me questions, and that's probably some of those messages too. But then there was some form of starting to learn how to speak from that space. Because if you walk around in pain all the time, you pretty much tell yourself nobody cares, but then you start to realize that you don't care either, because that's what addicts you or causes the addiction in the first place. So I guess it's a matter of really looking or opening up in that space.
Yeah.
But are you opening up in that space to listen, to understand? Or are you opening up in that space to try to tell the person how to fix it? And really what they need the most is somebody just to understand. So if I was giving advice, I'd probably say, how are you listening to understand why they're choosing that? What is it that they're really trying to numb themselves to? That, and just listen. You don't have to tell them it's going to be okay. Don't tell them that. Tell them it's okay to not be okay, because that's some release of some of that hurt or whatever's causing them to stay numb.
Turtle slow. I've had the chalk. Oh, heavens.
You didn't turn off all the bells?
I did not.
Okay.
Here, you can though, because that thing annoys me.
Yeah, I see.
Let's see. Sherry, is my 20 been trying?
Mm-hmm.
No. Trying for what? He has no idea what he's trying for. I can only say that because I know who you are. No, he's asleep. And you're chasing a shadow at this point. And for what? For what? When you guys come together, it's just going to be toxic and turmoil. It's not time. It's just not time. And hamster wheel. There's a hamster wheel involved here that needs to be dismantled. The world does not revolve around this person, and your world is. And that's got to stop. That's got to stop. And once that stops, things will change. Mark my word.
Okay, what's the next question? That was to you.
Let's see, questions here. My TF would trigger me when we used to talk, and when I almost felt in a manic state. That's a great idea. Write him 100 paragraphs of why I was so mad at him. I don't think I could have got it in 100 paragraphs, but it would have felt good to try to.
Who, me?
Yeah.
You weren't mad at me.
Never.
No.
Last week, I could have wrote a couple paragraphs.
Oh, look at that. Ben and Josie.
I just
hey, coach.
Oh, Josie's here. She's a relationship reinvented coach, and so is Ben. Love those guys. Love all of our coaches. Let's see what we got here. Is it trust that no matter what, I'll be okay? I often feel like, why should I do this work if I'm not going to get anything accomplished? That's the problem. That's the problem.
Say it again.
Why should I do this work if I'm not going to get anything accomplished? What are you trying to accomplish? Union. You're doing the work for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. You're doing the work for somebody else.
Yeah, if you're going to do the work to be connected to someone, you're not doing the work to be connected to yourself. And they can see that, so they see no space to choose you because you're not. It's almost like it's kind of like the video we got coming this week, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the truth is, you're trying to be who they want you to be. You're not trying to be who you want to be. And that's probably the biggest hurdle to try to overcome. And even in our writing, I mean, it was like, I think that's when we first open up to the space of, I need to be the best version of myself for her. Not I need to be the best version of myself for me to give to her. And it literally, you don't ever see that. I don't think anybody even really talks about that, but you literally start doing that whole walking on eggshells thing. Be careful of that. There's no truth in that, and they can't love you in that. I watched this cool lady's video on YouTube on her Reiki work. Have you guys went to any alternative healer to help with the TF journey at all? If so, did it help? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth here, since we're talking to the truth. I did something very silly early on when I was going through my spiritual awakening.
It was scary.
And it was scary. I actually went and met with a bunch of shaman.
I don't think that they were. I don't know what they were.
I don't know what they were either. And they literally, I don't know what they could see in me, but
there was a lot of negative energy in that circle.
And I had all of this powerful, positive energy. So they literally stuck to me. And it was interesting because I had just gotten a new car, and the car on my way to visit or on my way leaving from this thing, my car got hit, and that was it. And when I was telling her about it, she said, "Oh, you're messing in stuff you don't know anything about. You need to step back." And then I just literally was lost because I was reaching out instead of reaching in. Most of the stuff that you're going to need to know is something on the inside of you. So yeah, I would tell you, I made the mistake and did it. I didn't understand what I was getting into. I didn't research anything. I didn't read anything, but I knew that when I left there, something on the inside of me didn't feel right. So then when she pointed me back in there to say, "Well, what did you not feel comfortable there?" And I said, "Yeah, I really didn't." "Why didn't you just leave?" You literally can put yourself in situations where you're not listening to your intuition. And this connection made my intuition very strong, and I should have listened. Because everything that everybody wants to tell you, you think you're going to hear or get the answers outside of you, where really the truth of this connection is all the answers are inside of you. Without anybody, if nobody's pointing you to that, we've said it a million times, they got to point to the inside of you to get you to your own answers, because that's what you're going to follow no matter what. But are you telling yourself the truth about those kinds of things? So I hope that makes some sense. The experience I could talk about, but that would be a whole separate other live or video that we probably could do. It was a very magical spiritual experience, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be walking into. It actually kind of deterred us for a while, because
we do have Reiki masters and that are in our coaching program that we call on when we need some energy or some healing energy, some loving energy. That's pretty much what we fall back on. We try to stay away from the main mystical things. I mean, I do have my rocks and crystals that I love and enjoy. There's nothing like getting a new crystal. It's pretty awesome. But we don't get too much into mystical stuff. We try not to anyway.
Did either of you get really headstrong when meeting your twin flame?
Oh.
Did you point at me? I've been putting my foot down with people, and I have no idea when it comes to Jesus Christ. When it comes to
that wasn't Jesus Christ.
No, when it comes from, I thought I needed to up my antidepressants. Here's the thing: if you've been living your life doing a whole lot for other people, and all of a sudden you put your foot down, are you mad at them, or are you mad at you for not putting your foot down sooner? I guess that would be my question. And then it would be, how do you stand up for yourself and not make people feel like they've done something wrong? Because that's where you actually do find your space where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's almost like you want to attack people now that you've been too busy letting people or doing so much for other people, you don't know how to kind of change over. So you're not hurting people, but you're not hurting you anymore.
Right.
There's a space where you can find that boot camp.
Life changing.
You both have made my journey easier into surrender. We've been in separation for almost 3 weeks. At first, I was angry and hurt, but I realized that this is not personal. I like surrender. I like that.
Surrender's nice.
That's a good word.
What would be the most effective thing at this point? Higher dimensional connection is constant. I can feel him awake to it. I bugged him out a couple days ago just through the upper dimensional. Adding a raw food diet has also helped me raise my energy and vibration. Look, it brought me down. I don't know why.
Interdimensional connection.
Mm-hmm.
Higher sometimes is something you have to jump up or get on a ladder to, and sometimes you got to be careful of higher self and those kinds of things, because what you end up finding is somebody who tells themselves they're not good enough, or somebody who doesn't feel important. They look at higher self and they actually believe that it's something that they can't obtain because they're not good enough. Inner self doesn't need any of that. It just means going inside. Mm-hmm. Look for that vibration before you look for the other. Adapting a raw food diet has also helped me raise my energy and vibration. Awesome. Hell,
Just read that.
That's wonderful. Oh, was still thinking about the last question. My twin is non-confrontational, but even more so when we should stand up.
He should stand up for me. I'm starting to stand up for myself in a lot of areas, but he doesn't for himself or me. Today I was ready to break up. I'd like to know more about that. I'm not sure what that all is. Was there an argument or some type of conflict or outside influence or something?
Look in the history. Sometimes it's something that it's not so much something you're doing, it's something that they learned to do. Whether it be that they did stand up for themselves at some point with somebody that they love and that person did something to them. So I believe there's a backstory behind that. Mm-hmm. And listening to that backstory will help you understand that better. I don't think that's a need to break up. I think that's a need to communicate differently. My TF and I were in contact every single day for 1.5 years, but now we haven't talked in a month. It's killing me and not sure how to handle it. Trying to do me, but struggling. Well, do you without the struggle. Because you're kind of creating a space that says that they're responsible for something, and the other person at the receiving end or the person you're connected to may start to feel like them, you know, just your thoughts about them make you struggle, and them trying to come back to you is kind of, that's the energy field they would have to walk through, because now you get to tell them how they've been gone for a month, or they didn't acknowledge you for a month. And that's actually you not acknowledging me for a month. So I would let go of the struggle. Find out, tell yourself why you're struggling, then tell yourself the answer to that struggle.
That makes sense to me.
Well, okay. I have decided to go my own way, healing myself. For me, I want to be happy again in my own skin and not trying to please everyone but myself.
Where is bitter old, what's she called?
You know, you keep putting the claw.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Bitter old lady or bitter old wife. What is that? You know who you are. You know who you are. That comment was for you.
Well, for me, I want to be happy again on my own skin and not trying to please everyone but myself.
Stop trying to please everyone but you.
Yeah. What made you start trying to please everyone in the first place?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to go back and reclaim the girl that made that choice and give her love, because you'll keep doing that if it shows up. See. Great answer. All answers are within. I do enjoy it. It's all good.
That's awesome.
With everything, there is a negative and positive side. Always trust your intuition and stick with healers that leave you feeling more connected to yourself and more empowered with your own energy.
Exactly.
Bravo. The realm outside of
you take your own advice.
Oh,
you know who you
I like
are.
this. To me, higher means a higher frequency, not literally a higher place. That place
is the heart.
Is the heart. Yeah, the higher frequency, that's a good way to look at it, because if you look at the higher frequency of thought, you really don't have much need for the other thought that makes you seek godly love.
Right.
I like that. That's really
awesome.
I blame myself for not putting my foot down sooner, but I forgive myself. What is your definition of forgiveness? Clarification. We are connecting simultaneously in that inner, not visible realm while in person. And the question is, what's the best course of action to stay connected and not with him out? Just wait. He fled. The best course of action to stay connected is, that's a really good question. How do you stay connected to me when I'm not connected to myself?
I don't allow myself to lose the connection. I stay in it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have to jump in it, take a bath in it, because and now and then I have to wrap in it like seaweed.
When I disconnect from myself, do you find you disconnect from me?
Some, yes.
How do you find your way back?
It's interesting that I will sometimes do the opposite. When you're not eating correctly, I have to change my eating habits to. It's manipulation on keeping me fat and you skinny. I just figured that out. Yeah, aha moment just now, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm kidding, but anyway, it could be true. It could be. If the less you eat, the more I eat, and there are some days you don't eat at all. And so, when you disconnect from yourself, I disconnect from myself, because the more I eat, the more unhealthy it is for me.
Here's what
Does that make sense to you, though?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. But here's the thing that I'm not saying out loud that I probably should say out loud so you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
In me, I can ask myself if I'm hungry, and then I can hear, yeah, but you don't need a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go and grab a handful of nuts and just, that's it.
Peanuts. Let's just go ahead and go that, or almonds or something. Let's not say grab a handful of nuts. It's a family show. You're not a squirrel.
Or I'll actually grab something like some apple slices or something.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do little things like that. And by the time I come in here, you don't see if I've done anything.
Right.
So what happens is I'll actually listen to how much I need according to what I'm doing. If we're sitting and we're talking to, I don't know, we talk to, on average, probably 60 some odd people a week, right? So if I know that we're going to be sitting for the next 6 hours, my body doesn't need anything. Mm-hmm. So I pick up on that. The thing is I think I'm not saying to you, hey, I'm going to grab a quick snack kind of thing, where you'll go and go, okay, I'm done, I'm famished. And I just go do it and just keep going.
Right.
So that could be the difference. But I think I should probably be a lot more with it. I know, Sherry, you worked through lots of your sexual abuse stuff. My question is, do you still get triggered by things and struggle sexually at all, affecting the sexual connection with Lee?
The answer to that is yes. I do still get triggered by some things. It's never in sexually, though.
It has been.
It had been, yes, it has been. Yes,
but you
talked. Sure.
You didn't understand the disconnect, and then until she talked to me. When she actually talked to me, everything started to make more sense.
There are certain things. It's the oddest thing, though, how they come up. Do you remember when we moved into this house? Mm-hmm. The first time that it ever happened, to the point where I actually remember it happened. I'm sure it's happened before because we've been together for a very long time. But I believe when it did happen before, that I just didn't say anything, that I just swallowed it, right? And I'm sure that affected us intimately. Yes. With me not saying anything to you. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure that affected us intimately for sure. But I didn't realize it at the time, right? But when we moved into this particular house, look, we're not young people anymore. We did have movers moving the big stuff, but, there's a lot of stuff to do. We're getting our stuff together. Tensions are high. We're all extremely exhausted. We just want to go to bed, and there's no bed. There's a mattress on the floor because you just don't have the energy to put the bed together type of shit, right? And there was a moment in the basement downstairs when I think you were trying to put some electronics away or something, that you and I were screaming at each other. And there was a certain look that you had on your face that I don't remember seeing before. And it was just the way that your mouth was moving and the way that the words were coming out of your mouth. It just reminded me of that yelling and screaming. And I just closed.
From your abuser.
Yeah, from my stepdad. And it just reared its ugly head really bad. Do you remember that?
No.
It was so bad because then I stopped. I just stopped screaming and started crying. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do. And then one other in particular thing is, it's so funny because I looked the other day. I was like, oh, cool. I'll get to that. But my stepfather was my abuser, and he worked in an office, and he wore white T-shirts, and he would put his button-up T-shirt on over in his dress pants or whatever. When he came home from work, he would take his shirt off, and he would just have his white T-shirt on, and his sometimes he would just put sweatpants on, whatever. These wore white T-shirts all the time. He even wore white T-shirts when he wore his suits when he went to work. Didn't bother me at all. But for some reason, there was about a 4 or 5 week in a row that you had pulled out your white T-shirts and you were wearing them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And just one morning, I just looked and I was like, I got another white T-shirt. I can't take it. I can't take it. I just can't take it. So I remember losing my shit and going, I can't do the white T-shirts every day. I just can't. It's just too much. And
not that I didn't have 20 of them.
Right. But then I noticed that you had a white T-shirt on the other day, and I looked at it and I looked at you in it and I was like, okay, that's not a trigger at all. I mean, I realized that it wasn't a trigger. And then I went into my mind and thought, well, if it wasn't a trigger, why did I notice it?
True.
Right? It was weird. But it didn't give me that icky feeling, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it does still happen.
Yeah. And I think, intimacy is also the connection that you have with the person you're connected to that has emotion and sexual and physical. Mm-hmm. There's 3 parts, and all of it has to be open.
Mm-hmm.
So if intimacy suffers, one of those is the ones that are damaged. So you probably should be communicating that.
And let's be real clear on my abuse was very physical, very sexual, very emotional, and mental. It was a big package, very big package.
And for years.
And daily. So it's not like it was something that happened few and far between. There was full blown molestation, and it was brutal.
So hopefully that answered the question.
And I can definitely help you with your sexual abuse issues. That's my thing. That's what I do. I've been through it, and I can help you. And if it's getting in the way of your connection, which it will. We have a root camp specifically designed for those who have been sexually abused.
Yeah. Anyone experience illness once you've reconnected and then separated from your twin? Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
How about I got I had 2 surgeries in 1 year when you came back.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a major surgery.
I had a major surgery. And then we had really nasty bouts of the flu.
Oh, my gosh. Then we were both diagnosed diabetic.
Right. And then we had, I think you at one point had walking pneumonia.
In the month of March, last month.
Yeah.
We've been through it.
We've been through it. You always go through it because every time
you keep stomach issues.
You keep stomach issues, but that's where your power is. So a lot of the power we reclaim, you're going to go through that whole, let me purge some shit out so I can actually reclaim my power. And it's not so much that the other person's doing anything to it. It's you're actually seeing yourself through their eyes to see things that you carry that you don't even know why you're carrying it. So hopefully that answered your question. But yeah, the solar plexuses go through we still go through it. Yeah. And it's usually because there's a significant power struggle between us. Sherry likes to be in the masculine. Mm-hmm. I like to be in the masculine, but usually have to surrender and go into a positive masculine while she's in the negative, or we switch both of them. And then when we're both in feminine, it's really interesting because all of these things have so many different ways that we connect because you do have your positive and negative aspects of masculine. You have your positive and negative aspects of feminine. It's when you're coming together that you understand when the other person's, like if she's in feminine negative and I'm in feminine negative, look out, it's going to be war. And if we're in masculine negative at the same time, it's going to be war. So we often have to navigate trying to figure out who's in what because of our connection, because of the strength of the connection, because of the depth of the connection. We're in a space where we can talk to you in a way that you guys pretty much understand what we're saying. But literally, it's because that flow is something literally that keeps us together and actually strengthens our love rather than tears it apart. We could tell you more about that if you ever want to learn about that. Just reach out. I don't know how much more time we got because we've got we've got a few things to do. We love you guys. Do we have time for one more?
We got time for a couple more if we do them quickly.
Okay. Let's see.
Me and my boyfriend fighting and insult each other. He starts first. We break up every time after clash, and then stop talking for 1 or 2 months, sometimes more. Have to exit from hell. Stop answering his calls. I mean, if you're going to stay away, stay away. If every time you're coming together, it's toxic, something has to change. You're coming together and it's toxic. You're splitting apart because it's toxic, and you're coming back together and it's still toxic. While you guys are apart, you're not working on the toxicity. You're just getting a break. So it's like being underwater and trying to breathe. And then you come up for air and it feels great. You might lay out in the sun for a little bit, but then you're going to go back underwater and you can't breathe. It doesn't make any sense. Somebody's going to have to do some changing. Both of you are going to have to do some changing, but you got to start with the root of really what's going on with these triggers and this conflict.
One of the things that we're seeing more times than not is that the triggers and conflict, what you're trying to do is get to the space where you got to make up, because that's the space that you want to stay in. But then you end up, when you start to feel it pulling away from you, you create a new way to fight.
Also known as the honeymoon stage. Right. So then we cause conflict to stay in that conflict for a while
to get
that passion back.
To get the
when you make up. I mean, right? But you lose a little bit of yourself in that. Yeah. You lose a lot of yourself.
Are you fighting for a good reason? Are you trying to stand your ground over a belief system? Or is the other person trying to stand their ground over a belief system? And how do those belief systems actually work? You got to come and make sure that if you guys do end up coming back together, you're going to have to communicate from the space where you're hurt, because the other person probably doesn't know, and they don't know that you're even being triggered. They don't trigger you. The trigger's in you. They just kind of go, hey, what's this button right here? That's literally how that works. You could just communicate through that, and that should help you so much more. We love you guys. We hope that you had some time to actually talk to us today, and glad you guys were able. We got something coming Friday.
Yeah, you got another video coming out Friday, and hey,
deep one. It's a deep one.
If you are interested in becoming a relationship reinvented coach and doing what we do and helping us help others go into healing, this new program you can check out on www.relationshipreinvented.com under Become a Coach, and you will see our page, and it is amazing. We have amazing instructors, and this program will show you yourself first. Help put you in healing first, and then they'll get into the curriculum of it, and it's pretty awesome. And if you're interested in becoming a coach and doing what it is we do, and it doesn't have to be a twin flame coach, it can be anything, any type of coach. It's awesome. We would love to have you. And we are no longer doing the coaching certification program personally. We have amazing instructors. By the way, we will be there. We're not going completely away. We will be popping into your classes. Also, because of that, our schedule is lightening up some because we got some things we got to go out and do, which is perfectly fine. It's work, and it's reaching more people. So we're going to be talking to a lot more people at once, which is amazing.
Yep.
Root camp, however, we like the minis because it's only 5 weeks, and trying to clear up that schedule, our schedule, to be able to do things. It's easier that way. but we're not going to be doing them forever, and we're not going to be doing them long either. We got some.
Remember,
stuff
root
to do.
camp is individual. That doesn't mean that something bigger isn't coming. It just means it's an individual space right now.
It's just, root camp's just you and I, or you and a coach, whatever you guys choose. And we are still doing, we're still doing 5 sessions for $500. That's only $100 a session. You can't really beat that. That's crazy. But it's life changing. And if you've ever been through root camp, leave a review under here. I'm telling you, it's life changing. I want to address this real quick. My twin flame is famous and married. What should I do? Email us. We are twin flames, Lee and Sherry, but we do other things. We run business called Relationship Reinvented, and we do all kinds of different programming, parentless prevention, the coaching certification program. We talk to singles groups. We do work seminars, webinars, building better relationships in the workplace, things like that. But we also, I lost it.
You're talking about the.
We also have a PR firm. We also deal with a lot of celebrities. We also handle a lot of twin flame celebrity. We talk to the celebrity half. We talk to the non-celebrity half. You would be amazed at really how many high-profile celebrities that we have that are searching for their twin flame or know who their twin flame is or have the concept of it. It's really quite amazing to watch both sides of it. Of course, our confidential level is 100%. Your information is not going anywhere, and neither is the celebrities. So we keep everything 100% completely confidential. You never have to worry about anybody finding out.
And know this one very important thing. This connection doesn't care about celebrity or famous or anything. It just doesn't care. It's connection. I think we all get in our heads about people who are in the limelight, people who aren't. And people even have slammed people and said, that's not your, just let me tell you something. Connection doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. So don't let anybody tell you what you know on the inside of you. They don't, and you don't. I can't even stress to you how important that is, because we've seen a lot of wounded people for no reason. They never deserve to be wounded, only to find out the other person felt the same way. It makes no sense. Shh. If you don't have the right answer, then just don't. Nobody's pointing you inside to your own answer. Trust us on that. We've seen it. We see it time and time again. Know that we got your back, and know that we got what's on the inside of you. We're not looking for what other people tell you. Mm-hmm. We're looking for what you're telling you. So hopefully that helps. Yeah.
We love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
And Root Camp. It's email us at info at relationshipreinvented.com to get in on the mini Root Camp special. I'm so sorry. We're getting ready to go. So I'm glad I caught you guys live. Yeah. So sorry. We've been here. We've taken 43 minutes of these lovely people's time just talking. And they can handle us in bits and pieces, but a long time with Lee and Sherry is a long time.
There's a myth out there that we're really tough to get through. No, we're not tough. You're tough. Mm-hmm. If somebody's telling you we're tough, we're just going to point you to you.
We just don't bullshit, period. That's just it. We're not going to tell you, oh, that's your twin flame, and you're going to live happily ever after, and everything's going to be. No, we're not going to sugarcoat shit.
No, and we're not going to validate what's false in you. We just don't. I don't see the point. We're going to validate what the truth is in you, and we're only going to point to you when you're actually telling yourself. We want to see you connect to yourself, so you can connect to them. Mm-hmm. That's important before anything else. And forget everything else. Forget even what we are. Just remember, this is about you being connected to yourself. You have true love in you. You just need to let it out of you. And the answer's on the inside. Why you don't?
And the first 4 people who sign up for this mini Root Camp will get 6 sessions for $500 instead of 5.
We're going through them. Boom, boom, boom. By the second, third session, you're going to be able to see the connection to yourself to understand a whole lot that you didn't know you could understand before. Yeah. We promise. We love you guys.
You're gonna kill me for this. I just threw it out there. And there was one more thing I needed to I just need to adjust this.
You're not about to make a sudden.
No. There was somebody talking, and it was about the fighting, and Spirit's telling me, and I don't normally do this on video, but it's a communication thing.
The fighting?
Yeah, it's the arguing.
Okay.
It's a communication thing.
What Spirit thing?
Just it's a communication thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Reach out. We got your back.
Yep.
Love you guys. See you soon.